Hi, everybody. This is Gaby with Teens in the Driver's Seat. Did you know car crashes are the leading cause of death for youth? As part of our Top Teen Driver Risk series, I'm going to be covering drowsy driving and nighttime driving. Did you know that young drivers are at risk for being in a drowsy driving car crash? Yes, both drowsy driving and nighttime driving are top risk factors for teen drivings. And this presentation is going to cover the problem we see and why this is happening and what you can do to prevent it as a driver and a passenger. Let's get started. I'm going to wear my glasses for this. All right. Thanks for tuning in. This presentation is about nighttime and drowsy driving. I work for Teens in the Driver's Seat as a regional rep for Central Texas and Colorado. So first, let's cover the problem with nighttime driving. Driving at night is the second biggest risk factor for teens. And in 2017, 61% of teen car crashes actually occurred at night. We know for 16 and 17-year-olds, they're 3 times more likely to be in a fatal crash at night. So there's been some things that states are doing to try to prevent this with laws. For example, the Texas Graduated Driver's Licensing Law restricts nighttime driving for youth starting from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. That can differ from different states, so I recommend you check out your state's graduated driver's licensing laws. But we know it becomes dark on the streets before 12 a.m. So drivers are probably out there, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and still having to deal with nighttime driving issues. So why is it such an issue? Well, first of all, we have what's known as your field of vision, which changes because of the light that's out on the roads. What you have assisting you in seeing things on the road are your headlights and maybe some street overhang lights, but many times on rural roads, you don't have that kind of visibility. So, for example, when it's daytime, you could see things, thanks to your peripheral vision, more to the left and the right of you, right? You can see things as they move, and then they come more clearer and in focus as they get in front of you. But that's because you have light present to help you see those items to your far left and your far right. However, at night, you don't have as much light, so you don't have as much visibility. And therefore, your field of vision is only, as clear as much as your light can spread to capture things out in front of you, but you won't maybe see things quickly that are to the sides of you, such as why people are so worried about deer or armadillo, for example, in Texas, crossing the road. So you're not going to catch those things. Your field of vision just changes. You only have the opportunity to see really like as far as your light projects, and for everyone's eyesight, that's different. We also struggle at night with glare and recovery. Because you have oncoming headlights at your face, your eyes have to adjust. So your pupils will actually contract and get smaller if there's more light coming in at them. But at night, when it's dark on the roads and you don't have a lot of cars around with you, then your pupils actually get larger to let in more light and possibly see dangers on the road or other cars or things moving. So your eyes are constantly adjusting to the glare recovery. And through this, what you have a difficulty judging are your speed and distance throughout the whole time. So this is why nighttime driving can be so dangerous. So how can you prevent this? Well, parents, please drive with your teens and practice nighttime driving. Definitely try to drive before 9 p.m. As data shows, the later at night it gets, there are more car crashes amongst youth. And what you can also try to do is just be proactive in planning your road trips. Leave a little earlier so you're not out on the roads at night. So teens, practice with your parents. Really take that time to practice at night. See the things that I mentioned, the glare and recovery, notice those effects, and notice the field of vision and how that changes from daylight to nighttime. Let's move on to drowsy driving. The problem with drowsy driving is, yes, young drivers are at a high risk of falling asleep at the wheel. It's not just parents, it's not just your dad taking the wheel for long road trips. Teens can fall asleep at the wheel too. Data does show that men are more likely to fall asleep while driving drowsy. So what's really important is for you to notice the signs so you can help others or notice in yourself if you're fatigued and therefore could be driving impaired. So signs of fatigued or drowsy driving could be yawning, maybe you're nodding off, your eyes closing for a little bit and then opening them back up, but inability to keep your eyes open could be unsafe. You might miss road signs or also drift due to being drowsy behind the wheel. So that's the problem, right? And let's try to address that. What we know, and some of the risk factors behind drowsy driving, people with sleep disorders, people that have jobs that are shift work, so different hours from the 9 to 5, and people that are also taking medications that cause drowsiness are, leading to drowsy driving crashes. But those aren't the only risk factors. We also know that sleep deprivation could lead to drowsy driving. So you're not getting the required amount of sleep your body really needs versus the actual amount of sleep. We all have very busy lives. We have irregular sleep patterns. Things happen, and we're not able to get a regular, 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep a night. So our body's constantly adjusting, and that's where we have the side effects that I mentioned, the yawning, the heavy eyelids. It's your body telling you you're tired, you need to go to sleep. And for youth, you can be sleep deprived too. You have busy schedules. A lot is expected of you when it comes to school. Maybe you have to keep a job, do chores around the house. You do sports. You also need to be in extracurriculars possibly. So there's all this going around in your life. You also want to have time with your friends. And when do you get the right amount, recommended hours of sleep? Well, it's really difficult. When's the last time you got 8 hours of sleep? Yes, I said 8 hours. Because for youth, for teens, the recommended number of hours of sleep each night is 8 to 10 hours. And you may be thinking, oh, I can make that up on the weekends. Well, that's not true. That's not how your body works. And if you decide to get 6 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep the night before and get behind the wheel, you're putting yourself and others at risk on the road. So really we say, let's avoid driving late at night. Please try not to drive alone either. You can always have, if the state laws allow, to have a friend next to you or a parent, someone that can help talk to you if you're having to make longer trips and you're at the potential of being drowsy. If you are starting to feel drowsy, you could pull over at a rest stop or a gas station, try to take a nap, maybe use caffeine for a short-term boost, but that's not what we recommend as a long-term solution. Let's be smart, listen to our bodies, and if you're feeling that you're nodding off or drifting, maybe the best thing to do is arrange for a safe ride home. Call a cab, call an Uber, call a parent, see if somebody can pick you up so you don't risk getting on the road drowsy. All right, now it's time for the quiz to see what you learned. First question, true or false? There is no relationship between one's sleep and work schedule and risk of being involved in a drowsy driving crash. Pause, let you think about that one. You answered false, that is correct, because there is a relationship between one's sleep and work schedule and risk of being involved in a drowsy driving crash. As I mentioned, teens, if you have a very busy work life, school balance, you need to also be still getting the sleep needed before you get behind the wheel. Question 2, true or false? Drifting on the road or heavy eyelids are a warning sign of driver fatigue. If you answered true, you're correct. So pay attention to the warning signs. And last question, true or false? The average person's field of vision is smaller without the aid of light, and glare from oncoming headlights can further limit the ability to see clearly. This is what we talked about when you're out at night trying to drive. If you answered true, that's correct. That ends my presentation. Thank you so much for tuning in as I talked about drowsy driving. Everyone, safe travels, and please leave any comments or feel free to share this video, and we hope to hear from you.